Hello there everyone! I think it's time for another EP review, don't you? Today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the new EP from Megalodon entitled Moonrock, released on Never Say Die's Black label. Everyone's favourite dubstep shark is back with his first 4+ song project on Never Say Die since August 2016's My Selector. One of the genre's mainstays, having been in the game since 2011, the San Francisco-based producer has garnered millions of plays on social media and a slew of Beatport #1s. Collaborating with some huge artists in that time, from Never Say Die owner Schism to Zed's Dead, from Bar9 to Habstract, and more. All the while maintaining an old school feel to his mechanical and earthy sound, in spite of the brostep boom at the start of this decade. Not someone whose music I've enjoyed too much over the years, mostly I'd say because of the length of his tracks. Seeming at points a little unsure of itself, either dwelling on particular sequences for too long or cutting them off to go into other shorter-lived moments at very strange times. This resulting in a relentlessness in the delivery that is hard to stick with unless you are fully invested in the sheer force of it alone. So coming into this one, I found myself wondering more than anything whether this would be a development from his usual, more elongated approach in any way. And it's fair to say with this EP that the producer has taken some slight alterations to his renowned approach. Because whilst Moonrock is undoubtedly a continuation of his gritty, haunting style, there seems to be a larger emphasis on catchier, more melody-inspired moments throughout. This is notably the case with the introductions, not so much getting straight to the point, as trying to enlighten listeners on a different aspect to his production. The gloomy opening notes of the EP set the scene in a spooky way, providing an intriguing base for the matter-of-fact Mikey Caesar to have his say. And Megalodon continues to access different emotions across the 4 tracks through the introductions alone. From the cheeky, string-plucked sounds in Gorilla Glue to the grand horn section introducing Hush's muffled, threatening vocal in Clap. And then the wonderfully mellow, sombre and reflective vocal notes of the final track Feel It with Gentleman's Club, which also create a very nice distance between the insistent drops, at points raspy and others jumpy. However, I would have loved for those vocal sounds to finish the EP without the build-up being introduced again. They're just so beautiful. On the flip side of this, Megalodon doesn't introduce another drop at this point when I feel like he would have in the past, another significant aspect of this EP overall. The reintroduction of Mikey Caesar's voice at the end of the title track has a lovely rounding off effect to it, very statement making and conclusive. Whilst a similar thing happens with Hush's vocal in Clap, as if to say, okay, the dubstep has had its turn, now let's lend some more emphasis to the words and let them have the final say. Even in the 2nd and 4th tracks, the songs draw to a close around the 3 or 4 minute mark, whereas you would usually associate Megalodon with tracks lasting 5 minutes and beyond. Whether this was his intention or not, I suppose I'll never know, unless he gets back to me on this, of course. But I'm noticing a definite change here, a willingness to be a bit more concise with his ideas in the context of the songs overall than he has been in the past. And this certainly makes his music more appealing, and this isn't something reflective on the attention span of the listener. More, it speaks of variety as something essential, and especially with this kind of music, which for the most part is built on drop culture. And this is a big reason why there are a lot of people out there who cannot get into the repetitiveness and constancy of rhythm music. Which applies to a lot of Megalodon tunes from the past, but nowhere near as much with this latest EP. This was particularly noticeable in Clap, which builds well from its first drop to its second, making it more packed to give it that extra ravenous feel. And whilst there is a classic Megalodon feel to Moonrock, from that incessant, mind-melting, scything dubstep in the title track, to the constrained gurgles and belches in Gorilla Glue, and the second drop of Feel It, emerging from the depths before slamming into consciousness. There are plenty of other moments that show the listener that he is venturing into different territories with these 4 tracks. The all-encompassing nature of the drops in the first track, the Rusko-esque wubs in the second, the variation of the 3rd track as the drop progresses, or the way that the 4th track is completely flipped on its head post-introduction. There's just more dynamism to his synth usage, with everything hitting you not solely in the face, but up and down, left to right, tearing you this way and that way. Very brief interludes have also been a staple part of Megalodon's sound in the past couple of years, but this only happens twice in this EP, in the 1st and 4th tracks. Funnily enough, at exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds in both tracks too. So there is still that slightly predictable element to his style, but Moonrock possesses a lot more flair than past projects of his. It's just much more on its feet and alert. And for that reason alone, it stands as undeniably my favourite multi-track release of his to date. Even though it has those tendencies to become a little lost in itself, winding this way and that one too many times, changing tact unnecessarily in parts, it also wows in a way that his stuff hasn't done, with me at least, before. And whilst I wouldn't say that I love any of these songs individually, as a body of work I would definitely recommend it to anyone who likes dubstep. Because it has a consistency in its essence and attitude, as well as also having a clear variation to the sound throughout. And you have to laud him for sticking with this general vibe for all of these years, because it is now seemingly run of the mill for any artist to just produce what is hot at the moment. But nah, Megalodon has stuck to his guns, something that I would say is common with almost all Never Say Die artists. And for that we must thank Mr. Schism for having faith in the sound of everyone who is under his wing. What interests me most with Megalodon, as someone who has been at the top of the game for so long now, is how his sound would stretch over the course of an album. I have no idea whether this is in his plans or not, but it would be very interesting to see the different approaches that he would adopt over 10, 11, 12 tracks different to what he is renowned for. And so we wait eagerly in anticipation on the back of this EP as to where he will go next. Who knows, eh? Now in terms of a favourite track from Moonrock, I think I would have to go with the closing track, Feel It, with Gentleman's Club. For me, it's the best representation of Megalodon's newfound diversity, especially with that beautiful introduction. I just can't get enough of it. And recommendation-wise, if you enjoyed this EP, then I would definitely check out Crimer, Midnight Tyrannosaurus and Badclart. And I'm also going to talk quickly about the artwork for a second, which is a nice royal twist on the usually eternally dark Black Label aesthetic. Fitting somewhat for someone who many regard as a king within the dubstep scene, such is his longevity in it. But yeah, it's got the shark teeth, it's got the shininess, it's got the contrast between the colours. It's just gnarly as fuck, dude. Oh, and for those that don't know, including my dad who will probably be watching this at some point, Black Label is the sub-label of Never Say Die. Hey Dad! And so Naughty Steppers, that is that for my review on the latest EP from Megalodon, Moonrock, released on Never Say Die's Black Label. Like and share this video, subscribe to the channel down to the right there, and leave a comment with your thoughts on Moonrock. What did you guys make of it? Next to my head there should be some other Never Say Die EP and album reviews from yours truly on this channel for you to watch if you enjoyed this one. And don't forget to like and follow Nawtystep across all social media if you haven't already. With all of that linked, including those recommendations, in the description box down below. And if it's naughty, then you know guys, so as always, be sure to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I hope, as always, to see you in the next one. Peace out!